The Tale of the Rosekeeper Introduction. Hello, dear listener, and welcome to a soothing bedtime story designed to guide you gently into sleep. I'm your host, here to weave a tale that wraps you in warmth and tranquility. Tonight, we'll embark on a heartfelt journey, a reimagined fairy tale called The Tale of the Rosekeeper. This story is crafted to calm your mind and cradle your heart, perfect for an autumn evening. Let's begin by finding a cozy position. Snuggle into your blankets, let your shoulders soften, and allow your breath to deepen. Feel each exhale carry away the day's worries, leaving only peace. As you listen, let the words paint a dreamy world where kindness blooms and hearts find home. Ready, let's drift into the tale. The tale begins once upon a time in a village nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests. Lived a merchant named Elias. He was a man of modest means, raising his 5 children alone after his wife's passing. His eldest 4 were spirited but often idle, dreaming of grand lives filled with silks and feasts. His youngest, Myra, was different. Her heart was a garden of kindness, and her hands were never still. She tended the family's small cottage, coaxing vegetables from the earth and mending worn clothes with care. One fateful season, Elias's trading ventures faltered. A storm swallowed his goods at sea, and creditors claimed what little remained. The family's comfortable life unraveled. They sold their fine possessions and moved to a humble cottage at the village's edge. While Elias traveled, seeking new opportunities, his children were left to manage. The eldest grumbled, unaccustomed to labor, but Mira embraced the work. She learned to bake bread, plant herbs, and keep the hearth glowing. The villagers, touched by her earnest efforts, shared their wisdom, and Mira became the thread that held her family together. Years passed in this quiet rhythm until word arrived that a lost shipment had reached a distant port. Hope flickered in Elias's heart. He prepared to journey to reclaim his fortune, asking each child what gift they desired upon his return. The eldest demanded jewels, fine cloaks, and gilded trinkets. Mira, thoughtful, said softly, "Father, I've always longed to see a rose. They're rare here, and their petals seem to hold stories. Just one would be enough." Elias smiled at her simple wish, promising to find the finest rose. With Myra's careful provisions packed, he set off, her gentle wave lingering in his mind as he vanished down the forest path. A storm and a sanctuary, Elias reached the port, only to find his hopes dashed. Creditors had seized the shipment, leaving him penniless once more. Heart heavy, he began the journey home, but a fierce storm descended. Thunder roared, and icy rain lashed the road. His horse, spooked, veered into a dense forest, leading Elias to an unfamiliar path. Desperate for shelter, he spotted a towering stone wall, its iron gate ajar. Guiding his horse through, Elias found himself before a grand chateau, its windows dark but promising refuge. He tethered his horse in a sheltered nook and approached the heavy oak door. With no answer to his knocks, he pushed it open, stepping into a vast hall. A faint glow spilled from a nearby room, where a fire crackled and a table was set with warm bread, roasted vegetables, and a pitcher of cider. Exhausted and starving, Elias hesitated, then sat, eating gratefully. The warmth of the fire and the soft crackle of logs lulled him. He thought of Mira, her rose, and the promises he couldn't keep. Sleep claimed him, and he dreamed of her smile. The rose keeper's demand, morning light, woke Elias. The chateau was silent, the fire cold. Ashamed of his uninvited stay, he slipped outside, determined to leave unnoticed. As he led his horse toward the gate, he passed a garden wild with untamed beauty. There, beneath an arched trellis, bloomed a cluster of roses, their petals a soft blush against the green. Mira's wish echoed in his heart. With his knife, Elias carefully cut the roses, their scent sweet and hopeful. But as he gathered them, a shadow fell over him. A figure loomed all broad, with wild hair and piercing eyes. His voice was a low growl. "You've taken my roses, the heart of this garden. You ate my food, slept by my fire, and now you steal what's most precious." Elias stammered, explaining his plight and Mira's simple wish. The man who called himself the Rose Keeper softened slightly but remained firm. "These roses were planted by someone dear to me. Their loss demands repayment. You have nothing to offer, so you must stay and work here until the debt is cleared, or send another in your place. Return home, decide, and be back within a week or I'll find you." With the roses clutched tightly, Elias rode home, his heart a storm of guilt and fear. Mira's brave choice. Back at the cottage, Elias recounted his tale. His eldest children wailed, upset at the lack of gifts and the threat of his absence. Mira, clutching her rose, listened quietly. Its petals, still vibrant, seemed to whisper courage. That night she spoke. "Father, I'll go. You're needed here. I can work, and I'm not afraid," Elias protested. But Mira's resolve was unshakable. She packed her few belongings, pressing the rose between the pages of a cherished book. The journey to the chateau was somber, the autumn wind carrying whispers of change. At the iron gate, Mira squeezed her father's hand. "I'll be fine," she promised, her smile a beacon in the gloom. A new home, the chateau's door creaked open, revealing a boy named Luca, no older than 12. With bright eyes and a quick grin. "You're the new helper?" he asked, tugging Mira's trunk inside. Elias left tears in his eyes as Mira stepped into the grand hall. Luca led her to a room with a canopied bed, a small fireplace, and a window seat overlooking the wild gardens. "The keeper's not so bad," Luca confided. "He's just lonely." "I'm glad you're here." That evening, Mira unpacked, placing her pressed rose by the bed. A tray of soup and bread appeared at her door, Luca's silent delivery. She ate by the fire, the chateau's quiet wrapping around her like a blanket. Sleep came swiftly, filled with dreams of roses and shadowed halls. Meeting the rosekeeper the next morning, Mira met the rosekeeper in his study, a room of scattered papers and glowing embers. He was as imposing as Elias described, yet his eyes held a quiet sorrow. "Can you clean, cook, manage a household?" he asked. Mira nodded, her voice steady. He handed her a ring of keys, their weight a promise of trust. "These open most rooms. Do as you see fit. I'm here in my study or the library. Dinners at 7. Join me." Mira explored with Luca, discovering dusty bedrooms, a gleaming kitchen, and a library that stole her breath. Books lined every wall, their spines a tapestry of colors. "The keeper loves this room," Luca whispered. "He reads to understand the world." Myra began her work, scrubbing floors, airing linens, and coaxing the kitchen to life. At dinner, she and the keeper sat in the grand dining room, its chandelier sparkling like stars. He spoke little, but his words were kind, quoting poets and philosophers. "Books are friends," he said, offering her the library's treasures. Mira felt a spark of hope. This place, though lonely, held magic. A growing bond, weeks turned to months. Mira transformed the chateau, her care banishing dust and gloom. She and the keeper, whom she called Rowan, shared meals and stories. He spoke of his mother, who planted the roses, and his past life of pride undone by a curse. "A woman at my door begged for help," he confessed. "I turned her away, and she cursed me to live as I appeared, a beast, until I learned true humanity." Mira listened, her heart aching for his solitude. She saw beyond his rough exterior, finding wisdom and kindness. Sometimes, in the library's soft light, she glimpsed a different Rowan, gentle, almost handsome. Blinking, she'd see the keeper again, but the vision lingered. Winter blanketed the chateau, yet Mira, Rowan, and Luca kept it warm. Mira sent wages home, easing her family's burdens. When spring arrived, a letter brought news of her sister's wedding. Rowan urged her to go, his eyes sad but kind. At the village, Myra felt out of place, her heart tethered to the chateau. She returned to find Rowan in disarray, the library a chaos of books. "It wasn't the same without you," Luca admitted. A wedding and a transformation summer brought another wedding invitation. Myra, unwilling to leave Rowan alone, proposed he join her. He hesitated, fearing scorn, but her insistence won. Dressed in a new suit, Rowan looked almost regal. The journey was joyful, their laughter filling the carriage. But at the village, whispers followed. At the wedding feast, cruel words stung. No one would love a beast like him. Myra's heart broke. She stood, voice trembling but clear. You judge what you don't know. Rowan is kinder, wiser, and braver than any of you. I'd choose him over all 1,000 times. Silence fell. Then, before her eyes, Rowan changed. His rough features softened, his eyes bright with gratitude. The crowd saw only a man, as if the beast had never been. The curse was broken not by books, but by Myra's love, which saw his humanity. A new beginning back at the chateau. Myra and Rowan sat by the rose trellis, its blooms vibrant. He offered her a sapphire ring, his mother's, quoting a poet. You are my light, my home. Myra accepted, her heart full. They wed in the courtyard, roses perfuming the air, Luca cheering loudly. The chateau, once desolate, bloomed with life. Myra and Rowan filled it with laughter, books, and love, their story a testament to kindness and redemption. Good night as the tale ends, dear listener. Let the chateau's warmth linger. Picture its roses glowing under moonlight, and feel the peace of Myra and Rowan's love. Breathe deeply, let your eyelids grow heavy, and drift into a dream where kindness always finds a home. Good night.